Hello, hello.
I like how your internet crapped out because of the high vocal range that you have.
Nope, it did not crap out. That was your internet that crapped out. My internet is flawless. Now, my technical aspects of other stuff, as long as I don't spill any more White Claws on the computer, I think I'm good.
That's good. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday, Sunday, whatever fucking day you listen to this to. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Bass and Brews time. We've got Tripp here, and we're going to go on a trip tonight. But before we get to our guest,
we are your weekly distraction from quality podcast content.
I like that. Yeah, we haven't done that in a while. I like it.
I do it every episode, but I do it when you're talking so nobody can hear. I'm going to interrupt the shit out of you tonight. I feel it. I feel it in my loins.
Hey, remember to head over to patreon.com/Bass and Brews if you want to help support the show. We'd greatly appreciate it. Also, that's the only way that you can access the live show, Last Call with Alex and Paul. Kind of a PSA for all our Patreon members. The month of July, we will not be recording the first Friday because it falls on the 5th. All you degenerates are going to be hungover, probably still drunk, probably heading to some kind of clinic with your cousin because she's probably pregnant. So what we're actually going to do is the second Friday in July. We will I'll put it up on the socials though so everybody knows.
Hey, so everybody knows too, the Patreon is where you can go watch a 45 to an hour minute live show and interact with us, and it's way worse than the actual real podcast. So you're paying for a way worse product, but
wow, way to sell it.
You do get to be a part of that product.
That's true. And again, we've got some new reviews to read this episode. Everybody remember, head over to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review, and then be as mean as fucking possible in those comments. Just let us have it. So we've got 2 for this
5
episode.
stars. It's got to be 5 stars.
It's got to be 5. So the first one comes from Lawson Racing 8. It's titled, Don't Waste Your Time. Do you enjoy fishing? Do you enjoy listening to tips and tricks from seasoned professional anglers? Then this podcast isn't for you. This horrible, pathetic excuse of a podcast is a great way to burn battery life on your phone. Even the hosts know it's so bad that they won't even meet in person. Wow, that was like, man.
This is a good one.
When some jackass at the ramp asks me, what's a good podcast to listen to? I always tell them this one. And then I laugh on the way home thinking about how I just ruined their day. As my children would say, it's dog water. Wow. Lawson, that was amazing.
That might be one of my most favorites up to this point.
And then I actually know this user. This is coming from Eduardo. He says, "Send the doggone crankbaits" is the title of his review.
Hell yeah.
He says, "The Bass and Brews podcast is a fishing podcast that centers around the toxic relationship between a grumpy, crappy fishing host and a sassy White Claw drinking co-host. Thank you, Eduardo, for at least understanding the hierarchy between host and co-host." He also says it's a complete S show as the co-host aggressively talks over the guest and host, while the host drunkenly blabbers about lubricants and cryptids. I only listen because I feel bad for them. Wow.
See, those two
understood the assignment again.
Those two guys definitely were straight A kids in high school.
Yeah,
they were the kids that bell curve. Those two folks fucked up the bell curve for everybody else, and when they should have got B's, all the other classmates should have got B's. They got C's because these guys got A's.
Well, speaking of lowering the bell curve, we've got Tripp on tonight's show. Tripp, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I don't know how the fuck I ended up on this thing. I mean, the intro was wildly confusing. It's Bass and Brews, and you got a fucking dead guy in a giant igloo cooler. Now the reviews, I'm a little confused, but happy to be here.
Perfect. That's
all we want is you to be happy.
Confused.
It should be fun.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, you are in a professional studio. We said this in the green room. Your studio is better than Alex and I's combined.
It's all about optics, buddy. It's not even real.
It's all props.
It's not.
Now, the girlfriend was gracious enough to let me use this. She does music recording and singing and stuff. So this is the first time I've actually been down here and used it. So.
Well, she should have at least set it up for you because you obviously have no idea how to set it up yourself.
No, she tried, and I was like, "Oh, I got this," and clearly I didn't. So
she's gonna listen to this podcast and be like, "Yeah, you got this, huh, honey?"
Oh yeah, she's upstairs now. You fucking idiot.
I love that Tripp said that, hey, I got this, but he also did mention that today he ate a tuna sandwich that's been sitting at 104-degree temperature. And but he's like, no, I got this, as he's got full-on tuna fish poisoning.
We might be going on a journey to the bathroom and have to finish this podcast.
Yes.
I'm confused about this too. You're in Maine, aka Quebec. And
yeah, it's hot as shit.
How
right
did your tuna sandwich get to 104 degrees?
I don't know. You like summertime, we get up to 90, but with the heat index, yesterday was 118. I don't remember it ever being that hot. So, and I think today was pretty close.
Man, you could have cooked the Maine lobster on your dashboard perfectly.
Yeah.
Do you eat a lot of lobster being from Maine?
I do. I take it for granted.
Huh. Tripp, I've got a question. Like, the lobster roll is like my favorite sandwich ever, but it also costs a second mortgage. At most places, it costs around $3,500 to get about a half a pound of lobster with mayonnaise somehow on a sandwich. Is it cheaper in Maine? Is it just like a fillet of fish for you boys up there, or what?
No, it's more expensive, but I gotta believe it's cheaper than anywhere. I mean, you can go to a place and probably get one between $15 to $25, depending on what, if you're in a touristy area, it's gonna be expensive, but local places, you can probably get one as cheap as $15, $16, and it all depends on market price too.
What's your favorite part of the lobster?
Oh, it's a toss up between the claws and the tail.
I mean, of course. Well, fuck, man. That's the only two things you can eat out of it.
No, you can eat the body, but I'm lazy. It's people put a lot of effort into picking apart the body. It's like, we got plenty of lobster up here, so I'll just snap off a couple more claws and more tails.
See, that's why you're skinny, because I would eat every piece of meat known to man in there, and I would suck out the head juice.
Yeah, some people
Paul
do.
Famously once say he'll eat it from the tutor to the pooter. He'd eat that whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Tripp, also, we've had a bunch of guys from the New England area, and you definitely have the most New England accent. Over 171 episodes. I think Paul's right. You sound straight Nova Scotian at this point.
As far as our accent goes, all it takes is you find every crevice in your sentence and you cram the F word into it as tightly as you can. You start your sentences, oh, fucking the other day we were doing this, and that is the up north accent.
I've definitely figured out that the Maine accent is like a Canadian accent, but it's not nice like Canadian. There's no like, oh, sorry. It's nothing like that. You're exactly right. It's like a what the fuck in the middle.
That's how you can. Yeah. That's how you can tell a Manian from a Canadian is that they're way meaner. Like they sound nice, but their eyes burn a hole in your soul.
Yeah, I think it's the snow. I mean, they get snow too, so I don't know how they're so nice and still shovel their driveways and stay, polite. It's like we got shit to deal with.
Because they get free health care.
Yeah, they're the worst,
and they don't have to worry about getting hurt.
That's probably it right there. I think you solved the mystery.
It is. Hey, so Paul's going to ask a question about your journey, but I'm going to fast forward. Here's how Tripp got on the show, and just so anybody who wants, we get a lot of people who are like, oh my God, I'd love to be on the show. And listen, we'd love to have all of you. We do have a schedule that we have to keep, like we have a calendar, right? But here's what sold me on Tripp. We did a video about where do you put your dude wipes when you're done with them, right? And Tripp responded with that he stuffs our bass with them for extra points at weigh-in. That was his comment to that video, and guess what? You do a clever comment like that, I'm going to go directly to your page and look at your content, because that is the degenerate that we like to have on the show. So
I'm also excited because I'll get to the journey in a second. I'm also excited because Tripp is a tournament angler, and we all know that I love the tournament side of fishing, and Alex doesn't. So hopefully this episode, Alex won't be talking much because he's not going to have a clue what the fuck's going on. And he's just going to be
I'll
an
take a
asshole to
nap.
both of us already. He's already said that, his whole thing is tournament fishing is dumb. But this is also from the guy who entered a tournament and just didn't go for no good reason.
Yep.
Did you pay?
No.
Oh, all right. Well,
I forgot the tournament. Yeah. No. Paul's been kind of doing this. He's kind of like a one-trick pony. He's been talking about this for like 2-3 weeks now. He's only got a couple things to get on me.
We talked about you going into this tournament for 2 or so months, and
I missed it.
You missed. This is such a bullshit. You're scared. You're chicken shit.
I'm not scared. I'm scared of what?
Exactly. I don't know, but you didn't even go. And it was on a lake you said
forgot.
that you caught fish on.
I dominate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is I fished the day after the tournament.
If you guys can violate your you don't meet each other policy, you guys should totally live stream your first tournament, and what a shit show it would be.
Yeah, I'm kicking that motherfucker in the water off the dock first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
He'd have to show up for you to do that.
I think that the first time we meet shouldn't even be kayak fishing. It should be on like somebody's actual bass boat, just so we could have us both working the trolling motor, just fucking screaming at each other the whole time.
I'm not getting on a boat with you because I do not trust your casting abilities and not to put a hook in my face.
Oh,
dude, I'm like first aid certified. I got you, dog.
You know what? I was a first responder too, but I still don't want a hook in my ear. I mean, that would be golden. It would be our second most viral video, but
Yeah, dog. That's how we get to the next level. Joe Rogan, we are so close to surpassing Joe Rogan. All we're missing is about 1 billion views, but also we need a good viral video of you getting a swim jig through the ear.
Look, I got big ass ears, so even if you ripped half of it off, I'd still have a whole ear for the average person.
It does catch fish.
It does.
Hey, Tripp. Usually folks wear hats on this podcast, and you don't. How old are you?
I am 36.
Okay, your hairline isn't as receding as I thought it was going to be then, but okay.
It's on its way.
I love that Paul is taking this new thing. Paul knows he's the giant fat ass. He's the largest person we've ever had on the show, and he's been on 170 episodes, right? So his new thing I've noticed with every guest is to just rip them for their hairline, because that's all Paul's
bald or not bald.
Is that
bald or not bald? But we're inviting a bunch of bald ass people on here. I mean, I didn't know. I have seen Bailey in person numerous times.
Yeah,
and we hung out and drank, and I never knew that Bailey had tongue hair.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Bailey, after working in the fishing industry so long, that his looks have just gone down the shitter so
Bailey's,
bad. Like, they are
Bailey's hairline looks like the Rolling Stones album cover with the big ass tongue, and then they just laid it on his head, except in his hair.
That's medically fascinating.
It is.
It's awesome, but the one upside is Bailey is my number one # big booty boy. So at least he's got that.
And he can fish, really good.
No, he can't. He can't.
Yes, he can.
He just got 14th.
Yeah. 14th. And he's still in first.
Is he at AOI points?
Yes, Bailey. Motherfucker's always in first in something.
Damn.
Hey, well, let's get to our guest, Tripp. What's your last name, Tripp?
That is my last name. My first name is Mike.
Thank God we're using Tripp. Mike is just everybody's name is Mike.
I'm trying to get you guys views, so.
Oh, well,
got it. Hey,
great. All right.
Also, Tripp, we have your full name? Can we also get your social and your date of birth as well? You
can rob me for all $3 I have left after Tackle Warehouse takes its cut.
Well, Tripp, we don't introduce our guest here. We let them introduce themselves. But the way that we work this is we want to know what's your journey, your fishing journey that has brought you here in front of us today on Bass and Brews podcast.
Oh, man. TikTok and the short form video mashed very well with my overwhelming ADHD. I'm like, I can make videos in 7 seconds and they're fun. I do not have the attention span for YouTube. So that's how I got involved in doing fishing videos, which led me to commenting about stuffing bass with shitty toilet paper. And for whatever reason, you guys being like, hey, you should come hang out with us.
And you said this is a great idea, and then you showed up in the text chain in the podcast tonight. You're like, I'm not sure why the fuck I'm here.
Well, I mean, I quit drinking, and I'm like, all right, I got to go to the store real quick, and this is going to be bad.
Well,
wait. You quit drinking altogether, and you just relapsed tonight? Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Well, this was probably one of the top 3 worst answers to that question. We want to know your journey. And if we got, let me take it back to what all the other fishing podcasts. When did you start fishing, and why did you start fishing, and how are you where you are now fishing?
I got pretty spoiled as a kid. Dad, started me out, got me hooked, doing just catch sunfish off a dock with a worm. It's effortless, but I could have done it all day. But we had friends that lived in southern Maine on the ocean, had a boat, and they would take me striper and bluefish fishing as a kid. And I mean, it was, you could point out the stripers, pick which one you want to catch, throw live mackerel for them. So, at 8 years old, you're catching 30-inch, 35-inch stripers. Definitely got spoiled as a kid, and from then on, I fished my whole life. Really got into bass fishing probably in my early to mid 20s. And I've been tournament fishing for probably, I think I'm on my 4th season this year. I do it with one of my best friends that I've known since high school.
The man with the good hair.
The man with the good hair, yes.
He's got lots of love flowing from every angle of his hat.
He's older than me too. He doesn't have any recession whatsoever.
Huh.
Have you maybe asked him for a little bit of it? Maybe do like a locks of love, like he cuts it off and we braid it in there? What do you think?
I think after the show, I'm going to need it.
So hey, you're from Maine now. Did you
stop?
Jesus.
Stop.
This is my segment.
Oh, and so it begins.
You're right. Go ahead.
All right. You said
ahead,
you grew up going fishing off the coast of Maine. So you're from Maine. That's where you've lived your whole life. That's where your fishing primarily is at. Where in Maine?
I'm in central Maine. I live in Bangor.
Okay. I have no idea where the fuck that is.
3.5 hours from Boston.
Okay. So you're not cousin Vinny from Boston. What is it? What was the commercial? What was the commercial? I'm your cousin from Boston.
No, it's Sam Adams. No, yeah. It's Vinny from Boston.
Yeah, there we go. See, y'all know what I'm talking about. Shit, I don't know why
he's
you
up
started
there with the
shit.
Moose. Bangor has a lot of submarines. They make a lot of boats out of Bangor. So I think that's all I know.
He said it's in the middle of Maine. How the fuck are they building submarines in the middle of Maine?
No, we do have a Bath. So Bath Iron Works about probably 2 hours south of me. They do all the military contracting and build submarines and.
All right, I was close. I mean, it's all
you were close.
It's all
yeah.
It's all maple syrup and shitty accents. I got it.
Yep.
Hey, well, tell me this then. I'm assuming, and looking at your social media, it's primarily smallmouth fishing that you're doing. Do you have some largemouth up in that area?
We do, but I feel like that hasn't always been the case, because when I was a kid, I remember the lakes that I fish now being known for phenomenal smallmouth fishing, and now there's, it's overwhelmingly largemouth. So I don't think they've been around, forever. We definitely started with smallmouth. You go back 100 years, and I'm sure it was all smallmouth.
Yeah.
But we do. Somebody told me there was an article in one of the bass magazines, and I'm talking like back in the late 90s, that said there's a lake 20-30 minutes from me that apparently was the #1 smallmouth fishery in the country. That was before the St. Lawrence River really got big.
Right. That's gnarly. What else do okay, so you guys have like are you guys like Wisconsin and shit like that, where you guys have like a really strict close season? Like during the spawn, you guys kind of shut down and you're not allowed to fish for them, and then you can go back up once kind of summer hits?
So they do, they zone it off, and at certain times of the year, open water fishing, even if it's not frozen over, you can't do it. and then other lakes they don't restrict it. It's all dependent on zones. As the club that I fish out of, they do take about a month and a half off during the spawn, so we're not ripping females off their beds and taking them into weigh-in.
Nice.
But I don't think that's a state law.
Okay.
So that's just y'all
That's interesting.
locally doing conservation for your fisheries locally. That's pretty damn awesome right there. Some southern states need to take into account some of that type of fishing. Even though I would say that the spawn fishing in the South isn't as big an issue as tournaments in the summer.
Fishing. Yeah.
Tournaments in the summer is where we see, folks, a lot of dead fish after. So how did you grew up fishing? Sounds like you were in the saltwater side of it for a long time. How did you get into the tournament side of it? Because when I think of Maine fishing, I think of saltwater fishing, I think of smallmouth fishing, but I don't really ever think about actually tournament fishing there. Because the season, what do y'all get, like 4 months where you can really fish? Or you in an area that ices up for 3 or 4 months out of the year?
If you're willing to, fish in some cold weather, we can get 6.5 months of open water season. But you're running 70 miles an hour down the lake at 39 degrees, water temp is barely above freezing. It's fucking cold. We had one where we were making snow angels on the deck by the end of the tournament.
Insane.
That's hell. Hey, look, we don't get no ice over here, but a few years ago we had a kayak tournament, and when we launched, this would have been February of 2021, I believe. We launched, and it was 19 degrees outside.
Yeah, you still had your flippy flops on, didn't you?
Yeah, I had Crocs on at that point in time. 19 degrees. If you've ever been to the South when it's 19 degrees, I'm in North Carolina, so this is North Carolina. 19 degrees is cold anywhere, but when you are in the Carolinas at 19 degrees, that cold chills your bones, and it was quite chilly. But no ice. We get to fish 365 days a year, so we're lucky with that. But starting into tournament fishing, how did you get? Oh Lord, he's gone. Y'all, we lost him.
He totally exited out of that.
It was like, fuck this podcast. I'm done. I'm out.
Hey, why?
Nope, he's back. I got him, Alex.
He's back.
Damn it, Alex! I said I got him. Quit clicking.
He's back.
He's back.
What's up, Tripp?
You got a phone call.
You weren't joking about the ADHD. He was just like, I'm turning this off. He did it again. This is amazing. Hey, Paul, while we're waiting for him, I want you to guess the Maine largemouth bass record.
The Maine largemouth bass record.
What's the weight on that one?
I'm gonna say 610.
Not even close.
11?
Yeah, 11.5
pounds.
Yeah, dog.
11 pounds.
Yep.
I think that's bigger than.
pounds.
I think that's bigger than Maryland.
And then the smallmouth record is 8 pounds.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy
It's
shit.
insane.
What's the
now,
biggest
I don't know
large?
if these are. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
And like, I don't know if these are doctored up like the Illinois one is, where motherfuckers are going down to Florida with coolers and they're bringing these monsters back and calling it out. But yeah, that's insane. That's huge. Way bigger than I thought.
What's the biggest largemouth and smallmouth you've caught up in Maine, Tripp?
Oh, I don't have anything impressive for personal bass. I think I caught a 5-pounder 10 years ago, and it took me forever to get another 5. I think 513, maybe. And then probably
No, it's not.
Probably like a 4.3, 4.4 smallmouth. Nothing crazy.
That's good football. Yeah.
But for smallmouth fishing, you can go out there and catch 53 to 4-pounders in a trip when they're schooled up and biting. Though,
Yeah.
you can go out there and get a hurt wrist.
They come in like duplicates. We had that lake I was talking about. That was one of the better fisheries for smallmouth. We had fish coming in that were like, we had 3 388s and like 2 392s. They were identical fish.
Bunch of twinsies.
Yeah, it makes it a nightmare to call them out.
Right.
You actually got to start weighing all of them during a tournament. See. All right, we've got 0.01 ounces between these fish.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
it's frustrating.
And then one of them spits up a crawfish on the way back to weigh in, and now that 301 is now 275.
Yeah, and then you lose by an ounce, and you freak out.
Hey, so I'm just looking at some of these state records, right? It's always impressive, and I think it's a good fishery in a state when you have records broken or set like in a recent time, right? The New Jersey bass record is from the 60s, hasn't changed in forever, right? But like the muskie record in Maine was just broken in 2009, which really isn't that long ago. And you also had like some other stuff like this is really interesting, actually. There's a lot of records that have been broken in the 2000s, which doesn't happen a ton. Usually, like, back in the heyday of fishing, 50s, 60s, 70s, people are catching these big ones. But up in Maine, you guys are still catching 3-pound slob white perches. Like a 3-pound white perch is insane. Yeah. That's silly. That's a 3-pound white perch. Are you kidding me? And then for muskie, the record is 31 pounds. So,
do you do any kind of muskie or other freshwater fishing, or are you primarily targeting bass? And then if one of them big bitches bites, you're like, hell yeah.
So I've got a lake that's super close that I like to fish just out of convenience. And the pike got in there recently, and it seems like people said there's pike in there, and I never caught one, even though I fish it all the time. And then started catching one or two here and there, and then I started catching more. I started getting bigger, and it's gotten to the point where the guys ice fishing a 17-pound pike in that lake is becoming about the average for a larger one.
Lord.
Yeah, I think the game warden said that they shocked a 24-pound one at the dam. So that is quickly becoming a trophy pike lake.
Damn. So speaking of ice,
pike record is 31 pounds. That's also insane.
Does that say what lake it came out of? Is that North Pond?
It does.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
We just fished a tournament there last week. Yep.
That was in 1998 by Lance Bullduck. Caught a 31-pound, 2-ounce northern pike out of North.
If there's
Pond.
anybody
North Pond,
no, go ahead.
North Pond actually holds like 3 records. North Pond has the record white perch and yellow perch and pike.
We just fished a tournament there last week, and it's pretty common, as you're out looking for bass, that guys will get broken off with pretty good sized pike.
Yeah.
If there's any name you ever hear in your entire life, and let's say you're in Texas and you're talking to some dude at the bar, shooting the shit, start talking about fishing, but hey man, my name's Paul. What's your name? He goes, my name's Lance Burdick. You know that he is from the Northeast. That's like a Viking last name for sure.
That's a solid Viking name. I dig it. Or a really nice Canadian. It could be either one.
You're right. It very well could be. If he bought you a beer when y'all started talking about fishing, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
If he 100%. If he smacked you across the face and gave you a hug and then bought you a beer, definitely Viking.
And if he tried to sell you fentanyl, he's American.
No, that might be. That's Maine.
That's Maine.
That's here. We got a big problem with that.
Dude, that's. I don't want to get into
heroin just wasn't cutting it, so they upgraded.
Dude, it's so crazy, right? Like, I lived in Philly for 5 years, and I went back there a month ago, and they've got like a whole section that's like blocked off, and it's just everybody hunched over doing the zombie lean, and it's just like open air. It's absolutely mind-blowing because like there's like bars and restaurants I used to go to that had to like close down in this neighborhood because it's like The Walking Dead. It's absolutely fucking crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah,
hey,
I don't.
So we're talking about tournament fishing and bass fishing and this and that. In the off season, when you're frozen over, are you doing ice fishing?
What are you doing?
Or you just shut shit down?
What are you
doing? What's the deal?
I'm snorting lines of vitamin D, trying not to go into depression.
I thought he was gonna
so
say
you're not
fentanyl.
ice fishing?
No,
right.
and
I
ironically,
he was gonna say fentanyl. I'm doing lines of fentanyl, just trying to stay awake.
Yeah, No, as much as I love fishing, it's all I look forward to all winter because I don't go ice fishing. I probably should go ice fishing, but I haven't been since I was probably 5 or 6 years old.
Damn. Oh my God.
Yep.
That's one of the things I want. I want to go true ice fishing. I want it to be a weekend where we live out on the ice, drink, ice fish, cook what we catch, eat red hots and bright leaf hot dogs, and sleep on the ice in a hut and have a good time. When I go ice fishing, I want it to be an excursion.
I mean, that's, I feel like everybody does that up here.
I feel like ice fishing is more for the vibes, less for the fish catching.
Yeah. Ice drinking.
So when are you going to move down south then? If it bums you out for 6 months out of the year and you go into depression, why don't you move south at least a few states down to like Jersey where you can fish pretty much 12 months out of the year?
You know, I really think the snowbirds have it down to a science. Being in Florida for 6 months, then like there's nowhere I'd rather be than here from like June till probably Halloween. But I mean, I'll go down to Florida for a week and try and break up the winter, and I love it down there in the winter time.
I don't know. You just said it was 118 degrees up there with the heat index the other day. I'm not sure I want to come up there in June at all.
You know, I went down to Florida and did storm work for a month down there and thought I was going to die working out in the heat. But after I acclimated to it, I don't think I ever switched back because I remember standing outside while the heat index was like 110. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Like I could stay outside all day long. Like it doesn't bother me a bit anymore. And I never used to be that way.
Storm work. What do you do for work? You a lineman?
Man, I got ADHD. I do everything. That was my friend saying, hey, I'm going down to do storm work, doing fiber optic repair. He's like, drive down with me and I'll fly home so I don't have to drive by myself. So I was like, okay. And then I found a hard hat on my head on Monday and I stayed and learned how to do it and did it for a month and had a blast.
So that's why half the people in Florida's internet doesn't work because your buddy just picked you up, gave you a hard hat and said, let's go do some fiber optic work. Like, hell yeah. Duct tape and zip ties, baby.
Yep. Attaboy. Actually, you say duct tape and zip tie, but I learned that when it's storm work and it's FEMA's funding it, you have your first wave that they come through and reconnect the lines. And it's literally duct tape and zip tie those lines to guardrails, trees, an animal, whatever the fuck you got to do to get internet back. And then there's a second wave where they come back through and put it up to code, up on the poles, whatever it's going to be. So there was definitely some ghetto rigging of some fiber optic lines.
So they're like, we got to get these Maine people down here. Yeah, they're like, we got to get these Maine people down here for the initial rigging, and then we'll get the Florida guys set up to rig it right.
Yep, that's how it happened.
All right, man. With Tripp, with you being out in that North Country, right? Those up, those higher latitudes. Let's we're gonna play a game here. So this game, a lot
Real
of people
quick before we get into this, are you close to the White Mountains? Is that
so
Maine or Vermont?
Is what?
The White Mountains. Is that Maine or Vermont?
I thought that was New Hampshire, but I'm also retarded.
You know what? It might be New Hampshire. I don't know. It's one of those new places up there. Anyway, never mind. That didn't work. Go ahead with your question, Alex.
No. You go ahead.
Didn't hit.
Like,
no,
it didn't hit for dumb
it didn't
stuff.
Hit.
So go for
no,
it.
It didn't hit.
Go for it.
It didn't hit.
No. You do the next.
He's right. I'm pretty sure it's New Hampshire. But,
it is.
So it doesn't matter. But
I'm gonna tell you, I don't know shit about Vermont, even though I've lived up here my whole life. Like I know that it's featured on cheese packages, and that is the extent of my knowledge of Vermont.
That's about it.
Who has better maple syrup, Vermont or Maine?
Oh.
Telling you, man, it's featured on cheese packages, and that is the extent. That is literally the extent of what I know about that place.
So you're saying Vermont's maple syrup is trash?
It could be, or it could be magical. No, I have a theory that California is doing something similar, and like they hired the cast or the makeup people from The Walking Dead, and they just make it look god awful over there when really it's not. It's great. They're just like, get everybody out of here so it's not so crowded. I think Vermont is just playing the silent game of it's really a cool place, but they don't want anybody to know it.
I think you're right on that, but I will say I just got done living in California. It is not a production. It sucks. It sucks. All right. Unless I'm interrupted again. Paul, do you have anything? Like, you've interrupted me twice for this. Like, do you have anything? Let's just get it out now. Go ahead, Paul.
Might as well go for a third.
All right. Some kids played this, some didn't. We're going to play a game called Marry, Fuck, Kill. Do you remember this game as a kid?
Oh, boys, I do.
All right. So I'm going to give you 3 options, and you've got to marry one, fuck one, or kill one. All right. Hey, Paul. Come on, Paul.
I didn't do anything. That bitch played longer than I thought it was. I haven't played it in a while.
I know. All right. Here's your 3 options: Bigfoot, aliens, or the Loch Ness. You've got to marry one, fornicate with one, and kill the other.
Man, when you say aliens, are we talking like Ridley Scott, like 1970s
We have
alien
pictures.
series?
We have pictures. That's the
Yeah,
alien.
that's what we're talking about.
Oh, like Mars Attacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Normally,
Normally it looks like this, but it looks a little better with Paul's face on it.
I couldn't fuck the aliens. They talk too much. I just, I can't do like you could be super attractive and it just that killed it for me. You gotta kill the aliens.
Kill the aliens, okay?
What the fuck was the other option? The Loch Ness fucking monster?
Yeah.
Or Bigfoot.
You got to fornicate one and marry one.
Yep.
I'm gonna marry the Loch Ness monster because it's not real.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I gotta fuck it. Then I gotta fuck
This
Bigfoot.
is what you're fucking right here. This is what you're fucking, Bigfoot, right here. There it is.
You know what? I'm in. I'm gonna stand by my decision.
I like it.
Fuck Bigfoot. I'm gonna marry the Loch Ness monster, and I gotta kill the aliens because they yap and yap and yap, and I can't.
Those,
can't do it.
Those are especially the Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
I bet they could Hawk Tui better than the rest of them though.
Fucking Hawk Tui. All right, Hawk Tui is the funniest thing to go on TikTok in a long time. It applies to so many different niches and genres. And also, it's just kind of a really hot chick talking about spitting on a wiener. It's so amazing.
I've never gotten so burnt out on a trend so quickly.
Really?
Don't get me wrong. It's so good, but it's every video because there's so many applications.
Right.
But it's hard like to not watch all of them because
they're good. But it's like give me something else.
But my wife got so mad at me because we were at a wedding last weekend and we were in a hotel room, didn't have kids, so we were just lounging around most Saturday and Sunday.
You guys are hot too.
No, we weren't doing all that. We're married with kids, you know. But anyway, we're just lounging around. So I'm doing a lot of video editing, and also in between editing, I'm scrolling, and it would just be up all the time. Hot to it. She's like, "What is that stupid shit?" Da da da. And I sent her, a TikTok to watch, and she said, "That's stupid." And anyway, she got really mad because like every other video is a Hot Tui or a Hot Tui remix.
Do that thing.
Listen, here's the aspect that nobody else is thinking of. That Oilers fan from hockey that dumped her tits out. That Hot Tui girl was a godsend because all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I'm famous. You know, I'm famous for something that maybe I shouldn't have done." Everybody forgot about her.
Yep. No, 100%. Yeah, like
isn't
that
it crazy
should be
that,
sending Hawk Tui some money.
Isn't it crazy somebody saying something overtook boobs?
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
I mean, my boobs have gotten big enough the last 2.5 years. Like I sometimes I stare at them in the mirror after I get out the shower. I mean, I love boobs.
Yeah.
Do you want to see mine, Tripp?
You know what? I'm gonna maybe later. Come back in a few beers.
Listen,
hey, have you ever seen an extra large pepperoni on a personal pan pizza?
Oh God.
Oh, I get the feeling I'm going to at some point, but
like when you cook pepperoni, big pepperonis on pizzas and they bubble up in the middle. Imagine an extra large pepperoni in the center of a personal pan pizza that's been cooked just a little bit long and the pepperoni bubbles up in the middle. That's what my boobies look like, and I got 2 of them.
The like ultra specific adjectives and the way you paint like a high definition like 4K picture in my brain. Boy.
But mine aren't greasy, they're hairy.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, hey Paul, this year for the end of the year kegger, since last year you wore the bikini, How about this year we get you like we figure out how to get the Bass and Brews logo on pasties, and you just come out with pasties.
Oh shit! I'll wear a pasty in a heartbeat.
I know you will, but you got to grow your boobs bigger. Like if anybody has
they're getting smaller, and I got to get them smaller. I need to lose. I'm down about 12, 13 pounds. I need to lose more. I need my
no,
boobies.
you gotta throw it in rewind, jam that thing in reverse, eat more bacon, take some estrogen, go all in.
Listen, if you are committed to this podcast, Paul, you will show up at the end of December for the live show with a solid D cup. If you are committed to this podcast,
that ain't gonna happen. They're too flat. I can't get cuppage on mine. Mine's spread out. They don't go forward. They spread out.
Hey, Tori, the Bass and Brews historian. Sorry for Paul. She did comment. Hey, just catching up. Paul's getting weirder. I think was her comment, or Paul's getting grosser. It was really funny text she sent. So,
yeah, it sounds funny. You can't even remember it.
I'm trying to remember. Shut up. You are pissing me off today, Paul. You are on your last fucking nerve with me today. Not a nary nerve left.
No, I would be on your last nerve. I wouldn't be on my own last nerve if you're, that's not how it works.
She said, y'all are terrible, but love the episode. And she put a lot of potty talk. Paul is working on giving you guys a not safe for work tag. Okay, so what's funny is like when you put out your podcast, you can like pick if you want to be not safe for work, but then that'll just limit you. So I don't
quote unquote, we're clean.
Yeah,
we're
a
clean podcast.
The fuck yeah, we're absolutely fucking clean over here. Like no shits. It's just super fucking clean in this bitch.
And we do remember this started for me stuffing bass with shitty toilet paper, right? That's how this whole thing started.
Yeah. I know you said that as a joke, hopefully, or have you done that? Do you want to admit that on air?
Yeah, what do you actually do? What do you actually do with your duty toilet paper on the water?
So usually you dig a hole, but like a cool life hack is if you can find like a small enough plant that you can like, unroot and it leaves like a little hole and then you just put the plant on top of it.
Absolutely.
Fertilizer, baby. That plant's going to be, it's going to be a
world
record
double
plant.
Size that same year.
Yeah.
I feel like Dude Wipes specifically needs to sponsor you because I think it was in like Wisconsin or Illinois where they were putting weights in fish, right? But in Maine, now they're going to be like, they've got wipes and fish as there's like just a bunch of Dude Wipes coming out of a fish's asshole because you shoved it full of it.
Did you guys actually see the weights that they put in the fish though?
Yeah, dude, they were giant.
Like,
well,
grow up and use tungsten like an adult.
Look, the most recent one out of Louisiana, they had fucking the weights that you use surf fishing.
Yeah. Like giant egg.
Yeah. It was like 2 pounds worth of weight.
Yeah.
Like if you get you're not hiring some high school kid that doesn't know a fucking thing about fishing. Like usually the people doing the weigh-ins have been around fishing. And like when you hold up a bass,
they know.
If you've been tournament fishing for even a year or two, you can be like, okay, that's, 3 pounds. And even if you're off by a pound, like, oh, that's a 3 pounder. Oh no, it actually weighs 29 pounds. Like seems legit.
This guy just caught a 47-pound smallmouth, just crushed all records. Hey, Paul, do you think there's any chance in hell that we get one of those guys on the show?
Never.
I think it'd be really funny.
No,
I think if we did an episode with one of those guys and Mike Long all at the same time, and we just talk about how to destroy tournament fishing.
Ain't happening. But this does lead me into something I've been thinking about the last couple weeks.
Uh-oh.
Last week we had BB and Tanya on, and we talked a lot about conservation. No, excuse me, 2 weeks ago we had BB and Tanya on. Yep. The week before, so if the folks, this drops Friday, and so the Friday before we have Dora and Boots on, and Dora talked a lot about conservation, and something that I started thinking about after these last couple episodes was anglers talk about conservation and we pay for all this and this and that. We're very conservation minded, but anglers have got to be the biggest fucking litterers in the whole entire world. Think about it. We're getting snagged with lead and hooks and rubber lures and breaking them off. every time you catch, like half the time you catch a fish with some kind of soft plastic, it comes off in the water. You break off and your line breaks off and you got 20 yards of line in the water. Imagine how much shit is in our lakes and ponds.
Yeah, this is
Trash.
not helping.
Shut the
Because
fuck up.
because
Some
of
politician's gonna
anglers.
see this and they'll be like, "Oh, we gotta ban fishing."
Anglers
What are
are
you
the
doing?
biggest litterers. Tripp,
I
in
thought-
case you didn't know, there's only about 10 people that actually get this far into our episode,
Yeah,
so
that's
we're
true.
safe.
No,
But
this will be
anglers-
the one that goes big, and then we get all these new regulations. They've already
Oh.
I don't know the details of it, but they've already banned lead stuff up here.
Mm.
I think that
Yeah, I
it's
know
like
a lot of parts of Massachusetts, and I know
Yeah,
parts
Mass
of,
has a lead ban. I think
Yeah,
all of
which I
Mass
hate.
has a lead ban.
I hate that. I hate that because it's a lot more. Let me just have my shitty lead. Thankfully, in New Jersey, you're actually allowed to use uranium still. So all of my jig heads are actually tipped with nuclear uranium. It's really
Well,
the
speaking
instead
of
of
lead,
using, the coloring, I
God.
just go for the glow. Yeah.
speaking of lead, though, think about all the anglers that put weights in their, like when you're tying something together. Anglers are notorious for putting hooks and holding pieces of lead in their mouth while they get
Shit
shit
in their mouth,
together. And if you've ever gone to a gun range and you got to go pick up your brass, they always tell you pick your brass up, put it in your hand or put it in a bucket or a bag or something. Don't use your hat. Don't pick up all your brass and put it in your hat and then put your hat on your head. And here anglers are putting lead and shit in their mouth and all this and that. I'm telling you, anglers are probably the worst motherfuckers for the environment that have ever existed.
Oh, would you stop? He's just hoping the AI that does our video clips picks this up so we can put it out.
I'm hoping the AI. Apparently, Alex is using AI for all of our or social
100%.
media clips.
100%.
But for some reason, they're always of Alex. They're never of me.
That's why you're interrupting. That's why he's
AI.
interrupting me. That's what he's interrupting me today. He's trying to get. Well, it's not AI. It's Al, and my name's Alex, so it's just me. Actually, no, it is AI. But yeah, that I get it now. You're interrupting because you're upset because you're not in enough of these clips because the AI.
I'm in none of them.
Well, it
It's either you or the
analyzes-
guest. I'm just
Yeah.
fucking chopped liver over here.
Well, it analyzes
catfish
when
bait,
somebody
and I'm the
it
shitty
analyzes
catfish bait.
when somebody does good content, and it just constantly fails on you. I don't know what to tell you, Paul. You went from being the talent to being the fluffer. You're just the man out there getting a semi-hard, and then I'm there to finish off our guest. I don't
I'm
think
you
that-
know what?
trying so
Somebody's-
hard not to make a Hawk Tui reference, but it's just you
Yeah.
can't not.
Well, at least I don't have to clean up after an episode.
That's true. All right, so you said primarily bass. You do dabble in a little bit of the pike when it kind of came in. Do you still fish saltwater, or are you just strictly freshwater?
Not as much as I'd like to. I live near the Penobscot River. We get actually right now. I know that the stripers have probably been running for a few weeks now. I'd like to get out at least once or twice and see if I can snag a few. It's always been up the river. If you caught like a 24 to 26 inch striper, that was pretty big for the river. But it seems like the last 7 or 8 years, like it's starting to be like mid 30 inch. They're starting to get some good size ones up here.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty good because I mean, other places are seeing declines everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the more south you go, the more decline it is, just because they're a little more prevalent. But that's awesome to hear. Stripers are fun. Strippers are fun also. They're
Yes,
both
they
kinda
are.
similar.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
one's got an extra P,
Yep.
and they're all fun.
That's what she said. Hey, tell me this. Do you have a boat or are you fishing in your buddy's boat? The videos you put out, because I see both of y'all driving.
So we've been fishing out of. We started in my boat. I've got an old sea nymph bass attacker that I completely gutted and redid. I mean the screens on it are probably worth 10 times what the boat is, but we have a blast on it. So we started on that.
You know
and
you're a
then
bass angler when you build a boat and the most expensive thing on there are your rod, reels, and graphs.
Oh, dude, well, get this. It's a 1986 16.5-foot aluminum boat. And I worked for a company that was doing carbon fiber bridge components.
Oh,
So
shit.
after hours, I was using scrap materials, and I made a vacuum infused carbon fiber transom for that boat, which is like
Holy
how they build
shit.
spaceship parts. So that that motherfucker's got a carbon fiber transom and 3 lithium batteries in it. But anyways,
people want to talk
transom.
And people want to talk shit about kayakers.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
A carbon fiber deck.
He got a Camus boat, or he bought a Stratus. We fished out of that for a year or two. Then he bought a 2022 Camus. And the funny part is this year he traded the 2022 Camus in for a 23 Camus. And I'm like, dude, let's fish out of my boat this year. And he's like, all right. It was like half joking. And then, you know, come wintertime being done, he's like, oh, we're fishing out of your boat, right? I was like, oh, fuck, I was joking, but sure. So we show up to the first tournament and everybody's like, oh, did you not take delivery on the Camus yet? Or is that getting delayed? He's like, no, I got it. I'm like, oh, is it not ready? He's like, no, it's in the garage. Like, and people are like, why the fuck are you fishing out of this thing? Like, I don't know, we just have more fun in it. So we've been fishing out of it all year and we've actually done pretty well. But I didn't realize it would drive. I mean, everybody else has been driving them insane. Like they can't put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, well, why the fuck are you fishing out of this when there's a brand new Camus sitting at the house?
Hey, well, if you were to pay for all of the carbon fiber, it would probably cost more than that damn Camus anyway.
I got asking them. I was like, man, if I invoiced out like what this would be, like this, like we're talking like a $25,000 transom here, but it's, you know, it's all scrap material, so it was just time for me. So it was more out of amusement just to say I did it, not because it's, you know, ultra superior or anything else.
All right, one of your videos, I'm pretty sure it was, what's your buddy's name? Zachary?
Ryan,
close enough.
Not even fucking close.
Look, I started with the Z. It was like 4 letters off from the first. It doesn't matter. One of the videos y'all posted, Ryan has a fish in his hand, and all of a sudden a rod just takes off from the front of the boat and goes into water. And he gracefully lunges, drops the bass in the front of the boat, and jumps into water after the rod. And then it ended. So my question is this. It's a 3-part question. What the fuck happened? Did the bass stay in the boat, and did he retrieve the combo?
So that was mid-tournament. I had just caught like a 2-pound bass, and he had just finished weighing it, getting ready to throw it in the live well. I think I was sorting through the fish in the back, trying to figure out which one we're going to call out. And he was on spot lock, and he had dropped his rod to help me weigh the fish, and that spot lock corrected to the left and ran over his line and sucked it in. That's why that rod shot off the boat. And I think he had just bought it. It was probably like a $450 setup. So clearly he's got his priorities straight, where he set the fish down so we didn't lose it. And then, yeah, I was looking down in the live wells, and I looked up and I saw the bottoms of his shoes. I'm just like, what in the fuck is he doing? And I gotta go back to that footage, and I gotta make a longer video, because he gets out of the water and he's got his fucking AirPod Pros, his wallet, his fucking Costas, like everything was in his pocket. But he did get the rod.
And the fish stayed on the front deck. It didn't flop off.
No, the fish is just like, all right, like just let me know when you're done.
This would have been a way better story if a fish had grabbed his lure and ran off with the rod. But it's still a funny ass video.
No,
you definitely need to do everything. That was a funny ass video, because we didn't know what was going on. So I kind of thought a fish maybe, because it looked like that. It was just sitting there off some. Yeah. But I wasn't paying attention to the trolling motor, because I was paying attention to him. That I saw him jump. But that was like, that shit had me laughing. That shit had me LOLing like a giddy little schoolboy.
That was definitely the first video that went, like, we got quite a few views. Forever we had talked about putting a GoPro on the boat and just never got around to it. So I finally bought a 360 GoPro, because I'm too competitive to fuck with cameras and try to film and fish. So with that GoPro, if I get a big enough card, I can set it, forget it. It films all day. If something cool happens, I can mark it. But it's like, I'm not worried about it. I can go back later and, mess with the footage. So that was like the first one that went super viral. I think if you add up between Instagram and TikTok, it was like 25 million, 26 million views, something like that. Yeah.
Chump change.
So that's,
Alex, we had one video go viral.
We had one
and
video
now
go viral,
you think we're badass.
Listen,
and yours wasn't even real. Yours in that video was like trash. It really was trash.
No, it was amazing that people got so mad. But anyways, I do tell Amanda all the time, like, just so you know, I'm an influencer because I have a viral video. So maybe you should do the dishes and cook dinner. And then she throws a shoe at me real quick and
It's just like,
fixes.
how much did you make off of that video? That's what my wife
God.
asked me when I said, hey, we had a Bass and Brews video go viral, like 30-something million views. She said, oh, okay. How much money did you make? I'm like, nothing.
It actually cost Alex $10 if you put in the time and the
Well, at least she
software.
asked, and she wasn't like, "Oh yeah, I quit my job yesterday because I figured, you know, we don't need it anymore."
No, we've been doing this long enough. Our wives know that this is a passion project, not a money making project.
It is a passion project for me, and it is a detriment to Alex's bank account.
Correct. Yeah, my kids eat top ramen at the end of the month because we don't have enough Patreon members. So no, I'm just joking, everybody.
It builds character.
I'm just joking. They eat ramen because they like it. Go ahead, Paul.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was waiting on you. I wasn't going to say anything. I didn't interrupt you.
No, it's all you. No, it's all you. Go ahead, bud.
So,
Look
Tripp,
at you guys learning not to interrupt, but now you went too far the other way.
So, Tripp, it's your podcast.
Mine.
What are we talking about?
Oh my God. What do you do for tournament fishing?
Oh, he I don't tournament fish. He shows up, pays money to donate to it, and then people win. But
I do better than Alex leads everyone on to believe. I've had a decent year this year. I'm second AOI points in my local club, but we have a guy called Will Lambert. He listens to the podcast, a little short, redheaded day walker. And Will Lambert is Mr. Century. And this is no fucking lie. I think he has definitely 3, maybe 4 100-inch bags this year.
Jesus Christ.
And over the last 2, so including this year, so the last 3 years, and that's including this year, I want to say he's got in tournaments, I want to say he's got 5 or I think he's got 6 100+ inch bags over the last 3
Tripp,
years.
Just so you know, in kayak fishing, they don't weigh them; they measure them.
I was going to say, this is like the metric system. Like I don't understand.
Okay, so all right, so you don't understand. Y'all, all right, so
they measure.
Y'all catch your fish, you put them in a live well, you take them back. Small boat tournaments, John boat tournaments, they typically have live wells, usually coolers, or some John boats have live wells in them. Well, for kayak fishing, we do catch, photo, release (CPR). We catch a fish, we've got a measuring board that you put the fish on. You got an identifier either written on your hand or written on a card, and we take a picture of the fish on the board, and then you submit it to an app where it's judged. So it's judged to see, if it's got an open mouth, if it's touching the bump board, all these different things. And anyway, we do length on kayak tournaments. So you catch a fish, you take photos of it on the measuring board, then you throw it back in. We don't keep any fish.
That's the gayest shit I've ever heard.
Wow. No, it's actually way better because length of fish is a better indication of larger fish than weight.
Are we really going to get into length and girth argument right now?
Yes, 100%. Because post-spawn, you catch a 22-incher that would have been 9 or 10 pounds in the spawn, and now you catch it in the summer. That's
what the dude wipes are for, or the lead weights, or whatever the fuck.
Listen, in Maine, bass buttholes are built to be put into. Like, you need to put stuff in that thing. Paul,
do you shove the dude wipes down the throat, or do you shove them up the pooter?
I mean, their mouth is like a fucking dumpster. It's fucking
like, I've been doing it the wrong way. I've been trying to put it on my pinky finger and go the other way up.
Bro, you bring the fish with you onto the island, and you fucking hang it with your scale, and you could it's next to you, so you can just toss him in his mouth. I'm not gonna that's way too much effort to stuff in his butthole. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Somebody in your local club is gonna see a clip of this or listen to this podcast.
Oh, dude, the game wardens are knocking at my door right now.
Yes,
I'm sure.
They are going to start watching you and Zachary Ryan Randolph, and y'all are going to be on people's radars to check your fish.
What's
from
that
here
show?
on out.
You guys have like a fish and wildlife show in Maine. I think it's called North Country. They're going to be at your door going, "Sir,
and
I will never see your fishing license." and I need to see your pinky finger because I'm pretty sure we can do forensics to find out if that thing was in a fish's butthole.
I will never forget when I saw a guy call a game warden a rent-a-cop. And up in Maine, like, dude, they do not fuck around with wildlife up here. Like,
No.
if the state cops, the sheriff, and the local cops show up and a game warden, the game warden has jurisdiction over all of them. Like,
It's pretty much
they take that
anywhere.
stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
Look,
if you hit a loon with a boat, it's like a $250,000 fine. Like it's serious shit.
Look, the game wardens are badasses. And look, here's the thing. I know a few game wardens and been around a lot. They really
snitches.
are. No, they're not. They're really in the law enforcement world. They're like one of the coolest people out there. Like they'll cut you a break. They're just trying to do their shit and get away. Like those guys, because most of them are outdoors people. They're anglers. They're hunters. They understand that sometimes you fuck up. And now they have a job to do, but those guys, all the ones that I've ever been around and been in touch with, like I've never had a problem. They've always been cool as shit. And they'll also, they'll kind of tell you, oh, so-and-so's been, there's been people catching fish doing this over here and that. Like those guys like to sit there and talk with you and all that. That's in the Carolinas, the ones that I know and been around have been like that. But you also got to realize those some bitches are usually out there by themselves, and they're around people that like everybody they roll up probably has some kind of projectile shooting apparatus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a different breed. But I'll tell you this, the ones I've been around are cool as shit, and usually they'll be like, oh, yeah, you seen anybody catching fish? Oh, yeah, so, catching them over here on crankbaits all damn day long. We watched them catch 10, and we had to go check their boat, and they had 9. Well, all that shit. It's good times. Thank you, game wardens. Y'all are my heroes behind Mike Iaconelli and Dale Earnhardt.
Iaconelli, huh?
Iaconelli is my fishing hero. He is. And I'm a Southerner, and I like it because in the early 2000s, the folks down here hated Ike. Alex has got to go tinkle. He's tinkling in his sump pump. Iaconelli, the Southerners hated Ike because he was loud, he was a Yankee, and it was just not what fishing was supposed to be. And I love that shit because fishing is boring as fuck.
Yep.
And he brought excitement to it and shit like that. And he was one of the first ones that brought a lot of personality that he wore on his damn sleeves. And he was out there. Now, some of that was probably for show, but that's great because entertainers are good entertainers for that exact reason. Wrestling, WWF, WWE, that shit's faker than hell. But you know why people, how they fill stands with 80,000 people and people pay to watch that shit on TV? Because it's entertainment. And bass fishing needs more entertainment because it's boring as fuck to watch on TV. I mean, how many times have you been fishing and not gotten a bite all day? You're like, fuck this shit. This shit's stupid. I'm not fishing again. I mean, it's boring even when you're doing it, especially tournament fishing. You get mad tournament fishing when you ain't catching fish or getting bites.
Oh, it's bad. When we first got into tournament fishing, I had done no early spring fishing, like right after ice out, and it's a different game. I enjoy it now, but our first 3 tournaments, we did not get a bite. And like I mentioned earlier, I am fucking overly competitive, and that really fucked with me. And actually, the second tournament we did that we didn't get a bite was one of the club records for most weight. So it's like it's that 1-2 punch of like we didn't catch anything all day. And our friend that fished this just caught 20 pounds and didn't make the top 5. So I didn't sleep for 3 days. That went round and round. Like, what in the fuck am I doing wrong? But it definitely fueled me to learn. And it's like I said, we enjoy it now. But man, that was a rough learning curve.
There's nothing more. I like the tournaments that we fish where it's a grind, where not a lot of people caught a fish, not a lot of people had a limit. I like those. I typically do. I usually can put a limit in the boat. So on those grinding tournaments, usually I finish a little bit better. If shit's on fire and everybody's catching them, I hate those because for whatever reason, I suck at fishing on those days. And everybody else is wearing their ass out. And, I didn't. And it really makes me feel bad about myself. I got the hiccups.
It's definitely that 1-2 punch of like, oh, I had a shitty day fishing. And then you got to go back and be like, oh, he's fucking weighing in 30 pounds. Awesome. Well, fuck me.
You're over there talking. So this is one of the things you do too. This is kind of a side note. I was going to say something else, but this reminded me of something else. You post a lot of videos of talking shit before y'all launch out around the dock. Tell us about that. Is this a big club where you're talking shit to people you know, or are you just talking shit to everybody? Like, what's that like?
I really don't talk that much shit. I mean, I'll say stuff jokingly, but it's a pretty small club. Like we'll have tournaments where it's only like 8 guys will show up if it's like, one of those 39-degree days and everybody knows it's going to suck. I mean, it'll be as few as 8 boats, and then we'll get up to, I think we've had one with 21 or 22 boats. So it's not a big club by any means.
This you really disappoint the fuck out of me right now, Tripp, because you have quite a few videos about talking shit before blast off, and now you're sitting here telling us live on air that you don't talk shit. So is that just like, are you just playing it up for social media then?
Bro, it's optics. Like, none of this is real. I sell internet door to door.
Yeah.
You just ruined my whole night.
Hey, guess what? You don't have to. I think that shit's funny as fuck, and you should lean into it more. I think there should be more fake shit talking videos because I think it's fucking hilarious.
They are funny.
Yeah. And just because you have a fake mic, it doesn't matter. I still think it's funny.
I mean, it's a real mic, but I'm too fucking clinically retarded to figure out how to use it.
Even though you told your girlfriend, "Oh no, I got it. I can handle this."
Yeah, you throw the directions away, like, I fucking got this. And it's
before we started the podcast, he's down there unplugging shit and plugging shit in. She's gonna go down there to record some music tomorrow, and he's gonna have fucked up all her shit so bad that she's gonna have to spend like an hour reconfiguring it, and he's gonna come home and all of his fishing rods are gonna be broke in the middle of the living room.
She's gonna be like,
studio.
I tried to use them.
What did you do that for? Well, I plugged my phone in and the fucking lights go out. Oh, all right. Sorry.
I started singing and sound like, one of those, what's the audio tune troll?
Sounds like
I hit the high note and my fucking light burst into flames.
All right, so that's so gross. Hey, so I mean, you kind of skipped over it real quick, right? But I honestly want to know, like, fishing is sounds like a core part of what you do, but like, legitimately, how do you get through those winter months?
Yeah,
like, is it watching a bunch of videos? Is it? I don't think you're the type that's going to do map study. I don't think you've ever studied once, let alone a map study. But like, how do you try to keep that passion alive for that 9 months so you can fish those 3 months?
And I'm going to add on to this before you answer that, because again, I'm in the Carolinas. I can fish 365 days a year. We don't have ice out. It's never too cold to go.
We get it. You already said it 5 times.
I can fish all the time, every day of the year. And since Alex wanted to be a dick just now, I'm going to keep going. I'm just kidding. But that's a good question, Alex. I want to hear your answer, Tripp, and don't disappoint me like you did on my last question.
Oh, it's been my goal this whole time to disappoint you, but
well, not wearing a hat disappointed me right off the bat.
It's like I moved to Florida and I still fish. No, yeah, like kind of what keeps that going during that winter?
I mean, tournament fishing gets me through the winter. It's that carrot in front of me. Like I'll text Ryan like, oh, fucking 154 days and we're back in it.
Damn.
But it's usually just, buying new equipment, being excited to use it, watching videos. I mean, I've got so much footage built up from buying that 360 GoPro. I'll go back on old tournaments and, clip stuff out, make new videos. But it's definitely what gets me through the winter of only 8 more weeks and we get to tournament fish. And I think I appreciate it a lot more that I can't do it year round. As much as I want to do it year round, it makes it that much more special.
I was about to say,
that's why there's so many. Oh my
A
god!
bunch
I
of
was
You
folks who
fucking idiots.
I know.
Get your
And like,
shit
well,
together.
I'm talking, and he interrupts every single time because he keeps trying.
I
Muted me.
muted him.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Alex. I might be
No,
able to
I
hold
mean,
this thought.
we talk to a lot of tournament anglers, and some of them talk about burnout, right? But the way your situation is, it's almost like you have that safety net built in, and it's called, 75% of the year you can't fish, so you can't burn out because you can only do it for 25%, which actually, I mean, I'm sure it's a very hectic summer for your personal life and all that shit, right? Because you're trying to get as many of these tournaments in, but you do have this kind of built-in cool down period to enjoy it more. I can totally see what you're saying about that. Like, that's absolutely valid. That makes sense.
It's miserable in the wintertime, but I think it really makes me appreciate during the summer. Like when we first started doing it, like we loved it. Both him and I, it's something we'd always wanted to do. So we started as alternates in one club and worked our way up. And then there was one year we were fishing two clubs. So it was we'd work all week and then we got a tournament Saturday and then a tournament Sunday. And I was bartending at the time. So usually I'd get out of work at like fucking midnight, 1 o'clock. I had commercial space that I had rented. So I'd meet him there with a boat. We'd prep the boat all night with plans to like, all right, we'll finish up at this time, go home, get, a few hours of sleep. That never worked out. So there was one year I don't think we slept like ever for a tournament. It was always prep all night, after working, bartending, dealing with fucking idiots all night, and then just fish all day on no sleep and then do it again the next day.
That's pretty cool because I will go, 2-3 weeks sometimes without fishing at all. And like Alex said, there's some burnout, and there's sometimes like, you know what? I don't feel like going out in 100-degree weather and fish this weekend, or it's cold and windy. I don't feel like going out fucking with that shit, and I'm okay with it because next weekend I can go out again. So that if I lived up there in that, I probably would be divorced, because if I only had like 4 or 5 months I could fucking go fishing, I would be fishing every single damn day I could, knowing that. You're counting down the days with Ryan. Oh, we got 158 days, so we go, and then you're counting down. Oh shit, we've got 75 days until we can't fish anymore.
Yeah,
that's gotta suck, man. Y'all probably have to winterize your boat too. Like you have to put your boat up and not look at it for 6 months out of the year. That's depressing as shit. Like I'd rather beat my pecker with a hammer than winterize a boat.
So luckily I had that commercial space rented that was heated, so I could put the boat in there, and then I would just go over there and, tinker on it. Like, all right, I didn't like how this was set up, rewire it.
Sit in your boat and practice flipping and shit.
Yeah, just
put some earmuffs on it with the water and crank the boat up and run it like you're
I got full image of Tripp just sitting there like, I'm gonna win the tournament.
Hey, you laugh, but it gets desperate times during the winter, man. It gets dark, dude. 3:30 p.m. It's pitch black here.
Ugh.
That's
why y'all. That's why y'all have so many kids up there, and that's also why so many fishing podcasts originate in these northern states.
They
is
really
because
do.
6-7 months out of the year they can't fish, and they're like, what the fuck I'm going to do? And you can only watch so much YouTube before you get bored. So like, let me start a podcast. And they do their podcast, and during the winter months, they're putting out episodes once a week, twice a week. And then fishing comes around, and you don't hear shit from that podcast. And then November rolls around, and you start seeing, they start putting out episodes again. Why haven't you started a podcast?
I watched yours, and I'm like, no, that is not for me.
This should be the reason that everybody in America should start a podcast, because if us two fucking dumbasses can take a podcast and put out like 160 something episodes in a row without missing a week, anybody can do it. I mean, we don't plan shit. That we're good. We've done good this year. We've had guests like 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in advance scheduled out. But last year we were getting guests on Thursday morning.
We were
and recording Thursday night.
Yeah,
and it's like Tripp. You said in the text, he's like, "Oh, I don't know. It's been a rough week. I don't know if I've been prepared. This and that.
Topics. Yeah,
we don't plan shit except that this bitch starts at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. That's the only plans we have. So you could
But
do it.
clearly, you guys love doing this, and I think that's the key to.
I fucking hate it.
Oh, what are you doing?
No. I mean, I like doing it. It's just
it's
I
like,
wish I had a better co-host. I've been trying to fire this fat fuck for at least 2 years. Well,
and see, this is why I hate it, is because all he does is I'm the talent, and all he does is talk shit about me.
But it works.
I mean, you guys,
it
not
works
for,
for the people listening.
For all 7 of your fans, they, it's. Man.
What's funny is 3 of those fans are still Paul because he's so fat. It's he just adds extra listeners. That's actually
Alex,
why I picked Paul. I picked
Alex
him like
and
a
I know,
big fat pig at the farm. I was like, this motherfucker is going to carry 3 to 4 viewers just in his gut. So
Alex and I know where all of our podcasts are put out to, not because we know where they're put out to, but each of us go listen to the episodes on all those platforms to get views.
I do not. That's the last thing I want to do is listening to a fishing podcast. No, I'm just joking. There's really good
I have never
there,
listened to a Bass and Brews podcast since episode 9.
You absolutely probably listened to yours.
No, never.
Wow.
No, I did not.
Because I listened when I wasn't on the show. I'll never listen.
On
the show.
I have the last episode I think I listened to was either Nate Shagnon. Well, I don't know. I listened
you weren't
to
on that one.
7 or 8. That's what I'm saying. Episode 7 or 8. I'm pretty sure I listened to 8. I was a guest on episode 9, and I haven't listened to an episode since then.
It's really weird because, like, sometimes I'm like, I want to revisit some of these podcasts, right? Because we've had such amazing conversations. Not this one, because usually we have a better guest, but this one we're taking what we can. But sometimes I want to go back to these really profound conversations that we have with people, right? But I can't, and some of that's because. Also
nobody wants to come back on the show.
Well, there's that. But
bullshit, that's a lie. We've had repeat offenders.
I have to do all the social media for it, so then I've got to go through it. I do have to go through it, but I've got to pick and choose. Thank God we have AI that doesn't select Paul for anything because he's too fat. He'll break the internet. His weight limit is too much for the actual internet. But
you're saying that AI is body shaming?
Yeah, no.
Hey, it's okay.
Like
it's just AI. I might be hefty, but I can always lose weight. Alex is short as fuck. He's having to sit on a booster seat right now to be in front of his microphone.
I want to go back to this. That makes it worse. Like, I can't help that I'm short. You could just stop eating bright red hot dogs for lunch and you could lose some weight, but you refuse to.
Look,
so I feel like
the only reason I got fat is because of this stupid ass podcast.
Why? Because you drank White Claw Surge to excess? I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly. That says 100% yes.
One day a week, you're not going to get fat off White Claw Surge.
It's one day a week, once a month, and then we have the other episodes that we sprinkle about it.
Maybe you should drink some water.
I record more podcasts than you.
Yeah, that's fine. I do more. Listen, we're not going to get into this. I'm done with this conversation.
Guys,
hey, Tripp.
Like crystal meth. It's not that hard. Just
hey, Tripp,
is that why you're balding?
Tripp, have you ever wanted to be the co-host on a internationally famous podcast?
Are you talking about yours?
Yeah.
I think I'd rather shut my dick in the oven and turn it on auto clean. But
yours is big enough to get in the oven. Props to you, Halls.
I mean, I'd have to lay on top. It'd be a process.
Yeah, if I had to shut mine in the oven, I'd have to get in the oven myself.
And I'm gonna tell you what.
Don't make a Jewish joke. Don't make a Jewish joke.
Oh God.
Rules. We have rules.
Yeah, rules.
Trip.
I'm respecting the rules.
I can't. Tripp's got the best. I don't think I've had a guest disrespect the show as much as Tripp and be as funny as about it. It's like in one way I'm like, this is awesome, and the other way I'm like, I'm gonna cry a little bit. It's fine. But
happy to help.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad that we can share our platform for you to poo all over. It's solid. I mean, I did.
It started with poo-poo, so it's only appropriate, right?
Yeah, that's why we're here, because of Dookie.
Poo-poo.
Wiping your stinky ass with dude wipes. I'll tell you this though, I've never used dude wipes. I've never seen
What
Willa.
the fuck?
I've never seen
definitely-
Willa. Aldi has the best wet wipes I've ever used.
Oh, would you stop? with
They-
Aldi?
They don't tear. You know, sometimes when you got a wipe and they tear and your fingers go into your hiney and you
Yeah, they
come
go
out
right
with a
in
little
there.
chocolate popsicle,
Oh,
like they
that was
don't
more- that was
tear.
a lot. Okay,
They don't
that
tear.
was a lot. Yeah,
And if you go camping, you need to take a little bird bath with some wet wipes. They
we're just gonna mute that one. That's too much. We're just gonna absolutely censor him on that one. That was.
I'm just
I think,
saying the
too
Aldi
much
wet
for-
wipes are wonderful, and the dude wipes smell like menthol cigarettes, and I don't want my asshole to feel like I just smoked a.
Well,
fucking
don't buy the
Newport.
mint ones if you don't like menthols. I mean, I love menthols.
Oh,
I
did they taste good? They make your breath smell good.
Your butthole breath smells good. Yes.
But if you got
I,
stinky breath, could you put one in your mouth and chew it up a little bit like a piece of gum, and then would it make your breath smell like a? You know,
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. That
Why don't
Nope,
you
you
try it
don't
on
have
air
to,
and tell
Tripp.
us? Do it.
Nope,
Do it
Tripp,
live on
you
air, and
don't
let's
have
see what
to.
happens.
that's along with the pepperoni thing. Come back in a few beers and we'll see where we're at.
Too long.
Oh, and only a few more beers. Shit. Look, we can record 3 or 4 hours now. I'm telling you, I don't know when to stop.
Actually, speaking of that, hey, Tripp, we are about ready to hit the listen, the Brewskis. That's what we call our fans. They are some of the best people out there. They're very
What are you
welcoming.
doing, Alex?
We're going to shotgun round, dickhead.
What the hell? What's that?
He's making up names for your individual fans.
I'm not. So, anyways, the
Well,
Brewskis
he
out
also
there-
has tried to
Oh.
change the shotgun round.
I
the
haven't
name
in a
of it.
long time. Would you stop?
Thank
Oh my
God.
God, you are fucking making me pissed.
I think you flustered him with the fingers going through the toilet paper. Which, by the way, pro tip: if you have sleeves, you have toilet paper. You rip the sleeves off, right? And you
Right.
get yourself like a nice square. The finger goes through it. You make one 360-degree swipe, and then you clean the finger off.
Nope, because then there's shit stuck under your fingernail. But if you're fishing, you're
No, it's
in the
covered.
water, so you
That's why you
have
gotta
a
trim 'em.
bidet. You have a bidet, so you hang gas off the side of the boat, and you take whatever hand reaches your hiney the easiest, and you waft the water up in there, and it's a bidet. Or you take
Bro,
a water bottle and take your pocket knife, and you make a little hole in the top of your water bottle, and then it really is it's like a water bottle bidet. It's got some pressure behind it.
Judging by your beard, I know it's like cleaning peanut butter out of a German Shepherd's coat. So there's no way that does the trick. Like you got to be using your bilge pump or something serious.
A bilge pump would work. That's a good. I've never thought about that, but yeah, you could pull that hose out and turn the bilge on, and
I
mean,
think
there you
Alex is
go.
done. He's just like, all right, I've given up.
Look, he was supposed to be 15 minutes late, so we were
Yeah.
supposed to have 15 minutes of like fun time. But
Yeah.
Mr. fucking Fun Police over here wants to not have fun. This is only our 3rd podcast this week. Matter of fact, y'all, when does our episode come out with Armando? Is it after this or
I
before,
think
Alex?
I think it was today.
No,
Hey.
he put out another one today.
Oh, hey, go head over to beers.
Bass
I'm
Kayak
fucking
and Beers.
So, there we go. I'm so
Bass Kayak and Beers at
discombobulated
Armando.
at this point. Yeah. We went on there. Armando brought Wolf of Walmart Dave to try to wrangle me and Paul, and that did not
it did
work.
not work.
So I just want everybody to know, if you are going to deal with Wolf of Walmart, make sure to call him Intern Dave from now on, because he's now the Bass and Brews intern who's trying to step up into the limelight. And he also tried to like steal my whole question on there. Like Armando said, hey, what's a controversial topic? I brought it up. And then intern Dave tried to steal it. It's absolutely ridiculous. But
He didn't
it was a
try. He
fun
did.
episode.
We
He
talked
totally
about it in
did.
the green room, and then he brought it up in the actual
Chat, yeah.
recording.
He did. He
But-
did. But we love
but
Dave,
on that-
and it was fun.
Yep, Bass Kayak and Beers. We were on that with Armando. It should be out by the time this episode comes out.
Yep.
Check that out. Also, we did an episode with John House with Real Heroes
Yep, that
and
came out
Purple
Monday.
Heart Homes, and that's coming out. Came out this
It came out
Monday. Go back and check that out, because they have that tournament coming up, and if you want to contribute, it's on Lake Norman here in North Carolina. But if you want to contribute to that, you can sign up for it and pay your $40, which ain't shit, and you can contribute to Real Heroes tournament.
Yep.
Go back, listen to that episode to hear what it is, but you can contribute to that. And if you're a business and you want to sponsor or give some packages, reach out to John House. You can find his information on there. It's coming up in July, the week after July 4th.
It is. Also, that's a really good episode. We drop our how you can win a fishing trip with me, so make sure to listen to that episode. But also,
it is.
It is. I don't want to ruin it. Go back 30-minute episode, check it out. But really, like, all jokes aside, John House is doing amazing things for veterans. There's nothing more than we love than veterans on this show, obviously.
Because Alex is a veteran himself, for folks
correct.
that might not know.
Yep. So make sure to go check it out. They're doing great work for veterans who gave a whole lot and now are looking for some help. And as a veteran myself, sometimes it's not easy to ask for help, and these folks need it at this point. So even if you can give your $40 and you're not going to fish it, or just share their stuff out to send it around as much as you can, anything is appreciated.
Also, real quick before you get going, I got one more thing. Tilly's Tap, Keosauqua, Iowa. Go follow Tilly's Tap on Facebook.
Yep.
Comment that you came to Tilly's Tap on Facebook. Comment that you came from Bass and Brews Podcast. I have no idea who these people are. I found this hat at my local thrift shop, and it's a rope hat. It had never been worn. It's awesome. I got it. Alex and I might have some rope hats coming out that were inspired by this. But definitely, if y'all are listening, go to Tilly's Tap on Facebook, comment on some of their shit, and say you came here from Bass and Brews. They are not going to have a fucking clue what's going on with it, but I want to see what happens.
This is why we can't get advertisers, because we just advertise random thrift store hat bars for free. So
we have zero sponsors, but we'll shout out damn near anything on here.
We do have sponsors.
We didn't even talk about Astroglide. Do you use Astroglide, Tripp? Have you ever used Astroglide? Do you like it?
For lower unit fluid, or
yes, absolutely.
Well, anything to do with sexual encounters with yourself or your girlfriend. I mean, it's a wonderful product.
Or for your boat, too. Again, it's great for the lower unit. I change the oil in my Subaru with it at least monthly, just so I can get a good, clean slide out. And, again, it's coming soon, folks. I don't know when, but it's coming soon. That Bass and Brews patented blend of Astroglide to make sure that you smell like Paul's taint will be coming soon.
Astroglide replaces a hot tui, and it's way better.
It's a hot Tilly. All right, Tripp.
There is no replacement for that. That is a timeless classic.
Then you obviously have never used Astroglide.
I hope they put that in a time capsule and some alien civilization finds us, and the first thing they play is like, you got a hot Tilly, that thing.
Know what I mean?
All right, Tripp. Everybody, the Brewskis, again, very loving, understanding folks, but we're going to get into a section where they can get a little
segment.
We're going to get into a segment where they can get a little bit iffy on things, right? They can get a little judgmental. So before we get there, I want to give you an opportunity to shout out whoever you like to shout out, where people can find you, all that good stuff.
I got nothing, buddy. Again, don't even know why I'm here.
Hold the fuck on.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Do you have any sponsors?
No.
Would you like to shout out your girlfriend or your fishing partner?
No.
Fuck them. All right. Would you like to
fuck them, but just like, let's get this over with.
Well, how about
it's time.
How about your social media platforms?
Let's see how far down the rabbit hole we can go today. Woo! It only takes one.
All right,
Alex is so mad at me right now. He is.
Here's how it works, Tripp. Here's how it works. I'm going to ask you a set of rapid fire questions. All we need is the answer. We don't need an explanation. If we do want an explanation,
I gotta go.
Perfect. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Texas or wacky rig?
Texas.
Whoa.
Okay.
See, I was thinking wacky rig 100% for this fella.
Crocs or flops?
What?
Crocs or flops?
Ooh, Crocs, but the ones that don't have the stupid holes that give you the weird tan lines.
Okay. A closed Croc. All right. On your way to fishing, is it hype music or does it slow jams?
Hype music, metal.
Metal? Name a couple bands that are in your rotation right now.
Oh, Lamb of God, Parkway Drive would probably be the top two.
Perfect.
I have no
Perfect.
idea who they are. Alex, do you know who they are?
It's legit metal because I'm pretty sure someone said Brooks and Dunn for metal at one point. So
Oh, yeah, that, sure.
Hey, on TikTok, there's no telling what kind of music they're gonna mash together and come out with. They got some good shit.
hey, you're gonna go
I
out
glued my
fishing
balls to my butthole again.
You're gonna go out fishing for 5 hours. Would you rather catch 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder?
Oh, 1 7-pounder.
All right, even from a tournament guy, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
do
Pineapple
you
on pizza, yes or no?
Fuck yeah. Pineapple absolutely belongs on
See,
pizza.
I do it. I do it. I knew 100. That's why I wanted to ask this one, Alex, because I knew somebody from fucking almost Canada was going to put pineapple on pizza. You probably
Plus, you get, like, you mix it with bacon, so you get like the salty and the sweet.
and the sweet, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you probably think Canadian bacon is actually bacon too.
I don't know if I've had Canadian bacon. I mean, I know it's offered frequently here, but I don't know if I ever resort to it.
Are you going to spend more on a rod or on a reel?
Reel.
Okay, there it is. Obviously, somebody uses a bait caster. Hey, have you ever eaten beaver?
Not eating it. Almost caught one.
Okay. Would you ever eat beaver?
I'll try anything, man.
All right.
We're talking about the
prepare it?
vaginas or like the creases.
I saw the wheels turning the whole time. I could tell the
Excuse me,
wheels were
sir?
turning.
What did you say? We're talking about the animal. How could you? I mean, we
I
have such
figured
a
that. I mean, we have
highbrow-
rules and
Yeah, we're such a highbrow podcast. We would never talk about any other beaver. I don't understand even why you would ask that. That's this interview has gone from worse to worse.
Hey, if you ever caught a beaver to eat it, how'd you prepare it?
I would probably deep fry it because I feel like nobody else has done it, and I like to try weird shit.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if Tripp ever caught a beaver to eat, here's how you prepare it. He'd take it to TGI Fridays, give it $3 margaritas and an appetizer sampler. That's how it would work.
Unfortunately, I don't even think we have TGI Fridays up here.
Shit.
That's how rural it is up here.
All
right, back on.
Sorry, go ahead, Alex. I'm not going to.
No, go ahead, Paul. You've done it all fucking episode.
Look, you said rural. Do you, being from the South, Southerners can't say rural.
I see that.
Rural.
And it's Crown Royal.
Crown.
Cool.
Just say crown. Like, nobody uses the last word anyways. Just say
Correct.
crown. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
No, I say royal because then people look at me and go, what?
Like, bless your heart, or like, what the fuck?
Usually it's a what the fuck, and then I have to spell it.
Oh. Like, oh, he gets tax credits at his work for them hiring him.
Well, I'm
All
on
right.
business, so yes,
Hey,
that's actually true.
Tripp,
Yes.
do you eat largemouth bass?
I've seen it done. I have never done it.
Okay.
Do you eat smallmouth bass?
I have never seen it done, nor have I tried it. I
I've
would,
heard
I
that
guess.
they
I just-
are nature's candy. What you need to do is you basically catch one, you gut it, and then throw the whole fish back in, and then you fry the guts up, and then you feed that to your dog.
The
And that's
eggs.
supposed to be the best
The
way
eggs.
to prepare it.
Look, you
All right.
need to take a visit down here with us, and I'm going to fry you up some bass. And you
Eat
catch you
all
a
of
couple
it.
smallmouth, freeze them up, bring them down here, and we're going to eat bass.
All right.
All right, this is we've asked a lot of questions. This is going to be the one that's either going to raise you to the highest highs to become a serious angler, or to the lowest lows to the dark waters.
Oh, boys.
Every angler loves a great sandwich. What are your top 3 sandwich proteins on the water?
On the water?
Yep.
PB&J, peanut butter for the protein.
Yep.
Ham and cheese and tuna fish.
Perfect.
Tuna. This man.
Oh no, tuna's solid. I love a good tuna fish sandwich. I mean, he's tempting fate by leaving it in his truck the whole time, but
I mean, it was for 4 hours, so it was like, this could be fine or it could be real bad. I don't know yet.
So was the bread toasty or soggy?
Soggy.
It
for
wasn't
sure.
soggy, but it wasn't toasty. But like the tuna fish was almost like, it doesn't burn your tongue, but it's like, whoa, it's not supposed to be that temperature. It was a weird, like a tuna melt is good, but it wasn't that hot,
Yeah.
but it was also like not cold. So it was a weird in between. Like, what the fuck is happening here? Is this food poisoning or did I invent something new?
Well, look, if you hadn't shit your pants since you ate that, then you're good. Everything's
you're
going to work out.
Yeah, I've covered it up pretty good.
That's good. All
Do
right,
you
everybody.
back
put a
the
dude
gas.
likes tamponing? Do you put a dude likes mampon in before the podcast?
Smells like a Burger King dumpster on a humid day in here. That's why I'm saying, as long as the show is bad, we got to wrap this shit up because I'm dying in here.
Thanks, everybody. You know what to do.
Bring